Been asked, what does a AAA game bring to people? Games come in a variety of forms, from small mobile games, which are used just for a casual basis, to indie games that might be puzzle or interest you in various other ways. But the AAA game is a game that typically presents an entire world to you. It's an enormous narrative. It's a vast world that you pass through. This brings to the user a really interactive narrative experience which they can get deeply involved with. It takes a lot of work. The development studio that needs to make this needs to create a fully fledged world, which involves an enormous amount of artwork, most obviously, but also a lot of technical support underneath there as well to make the world living and breathing. What does that bring to the player? It gives them escapism. In the end, what is games? It's always about escapism. But unlike a movie or a book where you just sit there and it just happens, in this case, in the case of a AAA game, you're actually engaging in the narrative. You're part of that story. You, to some degree, drive the story in the direction you actually want it to go. So I think what AAA games bring to people is probably the most realistic sense of interactive escapism that you can possibly have. We measure the standard of a AAA game. Well, ultimately, it's really not for us developers to decide the standard of a game. It's for the actual end users. So they need to enjoy it ultimately. But it goes a little bit deeper than that. Yes, they need to get brought into this narrative that I talked about in the last answer. They need to be engaged and put 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 hours into that gameplay. But also, it needs to be fun. It needs to just from moment to moment keep you excited and involved. But also it needs to be stable. Now, that's a bit of a weird word to use, but ultimately these are computer programs and they need to work consistently, stably. They can't, stutter or have bugs or crashes. And that leads right back to us developers. And we have to worry a lot about that, making sure the performance is solid, that it will work well on everybody's machines, and that it's intuitive to play. So no matter what controller you're using, mouse and keyboard or controller, that it feels easy to use. So the standard of the game is measured not just by the quality of the storytelling, the interest of the narrative and the richness of the world, but also the stability and fun and detail and the making sure the game plays well. You can just drop in and play it and engage with it. You'll find a lot of reviews of games they'll wax lyrical about the quality of the story, but then they'll say, yes, but the performance is really poor on my computer, and I spent a lot of money on my computer. And so obviously, we're measuring standard not just by the quality of it as a piece of media, but also the quality of it as a bit of software, and that actually relates to a lot of what I do as a software engineer in the games industry. That's what my favorite AAA games developer is. It's a difficult question. I think I'd have to go for Rockstar, who are probably the most well-known AAA developer of all. Their games, the GTA series, are coming up in GTA 6, and also famously Red Dead Redemption and 1 and 2, I think is probably the perfect AAA game. They bring an amazing attention to detail. They have a vast studio and they really take their time on things. And they just leave no stone unturned when it comes to getting every detail. And you can just go through the world of, say, Red Dead Redemption and look at a stream flowing, and every single rock has the spray flowing off it. Every single character is fully fleshed out. The narratives have been beautifully thought out, and the voice acting splendid. Everything is amazing. And it's everything that AAA deck game does well, brings you into an amazing narrative. They spend an enormous money making this, of course, but they'll make an enormous amount of money back. So yeah, if I was going to say what the very best AAA studio, it has to be Rockstar, and everyone is super excited for their GTA 6 that's coming out soon, and it's probably going to blow everyone away.